Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thanks for the presentation. Actually, I have some concerns. You know, there's rising costs of hydro, and we hear it all the time. So I'm just wondering, has there been a cost analysis done as far as what the costs will be moving from a regular diesel engine to an electrified service?
So as part of the electrification EA, there has been that cost analysis. I don't have off the top of my head that information, but I can definitely get it for you and submit it formally to Council for your information.
Thank you. I think that'd be some good information. And just kind of to touch on slightly to what Councillor Thompson was mentioning and saying, and I heard that a decision hasn't been made on that one. It kind of brings me back to you were talking about Bursey Street and that a decision hasn't been made whether it will even be there when the construction's done or whether it won't. And so I'm just wondering, has there been any talk with the homeowners, the businesses running along Bursey Street? Because I think that's something important for our residents to know, that there could be a possibility that that street might not exist.
Yeah. It's a great point. The only reason why we haven't moved to start contacting property owners is that we haven't gotten anywhere near enough design to look at what we actually need to take, or maybe not take at all. So we're very reluctant until we get some solid design work in place that allows us to take a look at what the options are before we just start knocking on people's doors and you know, creating a problem where there might not be one.
If I could add just quickly, the grade separation report was just approved by our board in January. So that list of 10 that you saw was just formally approved on our side, and that's the ability for Nick to start the formal process of design and feasibility around the grade separations. So to your point, of course, that's a significant impact, and there will be extensive outreach and consultation as that process moves forward.
Councillor?
Thank you. And just as a follow-up, so I'd like to hope that this town will have a strong say in whatever those options are, considering it will actually change. In essence, it's close to the very heart of our town. So I'd like to think that we as a council and as a community will have a very strong say in what happens in that area.
Thank you. Councillor Kim.
Mr. Chair, Councillor Humphreys mentioned about the underpasses and how important it is to this town and our Trails Committee, and so just you know, I also sit on that committee with Councillor Humphreys, and we do have 9 identified areas that would be suitable for underpasses, but there's 3 that are of the utmost importance, I think, to this town, and that we've identified that are crucial and that we actually need to get done. And so my question to you is that is there even funding available? And if there is it even a consideration to help fund these 3 underpasses? Or are you guys going to leave it up to the municipality?
So, and I'll turn it over to Nick in a second, but what I would say is Nick, as corridor director, has been given a budget built on the infrastructure that he's required to build for the Barrie corridor. As additional requests come in, as monies are spent and projects are costed more specifically as opposed to a general costing, there is an opportunity for us to bring that back and see if there's an opportunity and there's some funding that could go towards that. So to be fair to Nick, and when town staff meets with his staff, which is the bi-weekly meetings, it is completely fair to say that it's not in the project budget. That does not mean that that's not something that Nick as corridor director can't take back and see if there's additional opportunity.
Councillor?
Thank you. Well, I guess there's still an opportunity, so we'll press hard, and I'll keep my fingers crossed and hope for the best for us. But I'll let you know that I'm sure our staff and our council and our residents are going to be very vocal about getting funding for those underpasses. So thank you for your time, and thanks for coming out.